Nolan, I'm excited. I'm excited because guess what? This Friday, your cab event, not happening at night this time. We're going 2 to 6 p.m. and we're calling this thing Mayhem.
Mayhem?
Mayhem. There is just going to be mass chaos out right in the middle of campus. We're going to have a water slide. We're going to have an inflatable obstacle course. We're going to have bungee run, soccer darts. And you know what's the most fun that I'm most excited for?
What?
We've got a dunk tank. And some of the names are big in there. I'm hearing rumors of the president.
The president?
The president,
Donald Trump?
Mark. No, the.
Mark Landis.
Yep.
Will be.
Yes.
Our.
Mark Landis.
Yeah.
We love that.
We love that.
Mark Landis. I heard Smalley's hopping in there.
No way.
I heard that Dante said that he's hopping in the dunk tank because he's not afraid of any of his kids being able to hit a target anyways.
Oh, that's
man.
true.
There's all sorts of people going to be in the dunk tank. I'm super excited for it. There's going to be a dirty soda truck out there. So 2 to 6 on Friday. You guys come and go as you please. Be at the start, be at the end. It's just a big old party to kind of celebrate the year for us.
I'm probably going to show up the whole time.
That's what we like.
So for the Lark's Nest special, you have $50 in your account, and if you have not spent any of it, go and spend it. It just stops at the end of the semester, and that's not going to go anywhere. You got to use it to your advantage.
Use it or you lose it.
Yeah.
Hey, on intramurals this week, Thursday, I believe we're still continuing the 3v3 soccer. Gym was packed last week when I walked through. Marley tried to get some action in. We had to keep her off the court, basically. So 3v3 soccer still coming your way this week.
Well, sounds good. What about student life?
Student life, hey, big time weekend, right? You got Mayhem on Friday, and then this weekend, so actually Friday night and Saturday, I believe, we've got pen to paper coming your way. Quick 10-minute plays, right?
Yes.
So you don't have to sit through a bunch of stuff, all that kind of stuff. If long plays and musicals aren't your kind of cup of tea, we've got lots of 10-minute plays coming your way, lots of local talent. There's some recording going on. There's some live action. It's going to be a blast. I'm excited for it.
You will find yourself laughing and crying.
Yes.
And Nick Ladd is hosting a speech contest on Reading Day. The theme will be on the application of Christian peace theology to contemporary concerns. There are money prizes for this, and they are big. First place is $700.
700?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Second place is $400. Third place is $300, and fourth place is $200.
Wow.
My goodness, I could buy a new electric scooter with that kind of money right
You
there.
could. I'll race you with it, too.
Oh, sounds good. The winner will be entered into the national contest for a chance to win even more money.
Wow.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
That's actually super cool. So hopefully some of you guys take advantage of that. Hey, on May 5th, so I believe that's next Tuesday?
Yes.
Yeah. Next Tuesday at 6 p.m. is going to be your athletic banquet. So anybody who is on a team all this year, make sure you show up. It's dinner anyways. There will be dinner provided. I think I heard possibly out of the Lark's Nest, or maybe just a come through for those of you not on sports teams, so don't think that we're just not giving you dinner that night. But on May 5th at 6 p.m. is the athletic banquet. We get to celebrate our teams from the whole year, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Also, make sure we want a little bit at least business casual. So your best clothes that you've got, it doesn't have to be a ball gown, but we definitely want you looking maybe your Sunday best.
A little more than pajamas.
Yeah.
You know, that's all we ask for. Be on the lookout for an email from your RDs outlining the move-out process.
Oh, so much fun. Yeah.
Yes.
We love it. Hey, for athletics this last week, we are winding down in the season, so not a lot of games were played, but we did still have baseball beating Champion Christian 9-8 and 7-4. That's a pretty big. Those are pretty big wins for him. Plus, I think it was a pretty big weekend for somebody in particular too. Nolan.
Whoa, really? I heard it was a pretty big weekend for Caleb Wise, who was named the CAC Hitter of the Week with 5 home runs. Oh my gosh, give him a hand. Woo!
Man, that's crazy.
What a guy.
I think I would have been lucky to hit 5 in my whole career. So great job, Caleb. Hey, upcoming, like I said, the seasons are pretty much winding down. Currently, right now, our golf team is at the CAC Championships. But for the rest of the week, that's really it. Like after that, we're pretty much wrapping up the year.
You know, track might have a meet, but we don't know.
Yeah.
So good luck, maybe.
Yes. Right?
And you guys have a great day.
We'll see y'all later.
Yes. Good morning. Happy Formation Week 15. And we are going to celebrate words. Words have power. A little connection here. In Bib Lit, a class you have taken or will someday, we talk about a Hebrew concept called dabar, where words have power and they're kind of like missiles. Once you say them, you can't take them back. And through dabar, through the spoken word, evil is defeated and the physical world is created. Actually, Acuity celebrates and understands that. Our English department understands that. Words have great power. That power includes birthing through creative thinking a whole new world. That means by your writing, helping hone your thinking so that brand new solutions come to the foreground. I want to thank right now, publicly, our English professors for all the hard work they do with words, and all of our teachers, because we try to teach writing across the curriculum. And I want to thank all of the people who did the Acuity, all of our students, not just our student winners, but all of you participants, because words bring life, and that's what we are celebrating today. Let's give a great big round of applause to our own Miriam Barton as she begins this process.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us and celebrating the Acuity Writing Contest contributors. I'm Professor Miriam Barton. I teach English here. I'm privileged to be able to be the creative writing teacher and also the facilitator for the Acuity Writing Contest every year. This year's contest was exponentially impressive and competitive compared to previous years. Well done, all of you who participated, whether you won a particular category or not, or were included in the annual publication or not. Your voice matters and your writing is valid. Please keep writing and keep contributing to this writing community and any others that find your path in life. It is so incredibly important and rewarding to share your stories. You may never know what joy or insight or clarity you may bring to a reader. But as you write and share your voice, you will know and grow in your own joy and healing and insight and clarity. Keep writing. If you didn't participate but have come to support this year's contributors, welcome. And please consider working on your own writing pieces and contributing next year. What you have to say is important. Also, the link for next year's contest is already open. So if you have some writing ready to go or that you want to polish up, please submit it. If you have some ideas, write them down, submit it. I want to give a special thank you to a few individuals in regards to the publication, to Professor Joshua Cross for serving as the artistic director, to Sarah Hadaway for her hard work as co-editor and producer of the publication. I also want to thank the writing assistant staff and anonymous faculty judges for their time and important effort on this project, the staff at Marcom for their beautiful work on the magazine, all of the art students who submitted pieces to accompany the writing in the publication, which include Alexis Pabin, I'm so sorry if I mess up your names, I don't mean to, Anna Franco, Cole Steinrich, Devion Marsh, Ellie Smith, Evelyn Gartner, Lily Corkill, Trent Lane, and Yuki Ono. And again, thank you to everyone who participated in the contest this year. I am pleased to announce the winners and honorable mentions from the contest, all of whom will be featured in our annual Acuity publication to be released very soon. In the fiction category, first place, Beneath the Stars by Justin Young. We have two honorable mentions in the fiction category, Life by Juan Hernandez and Embodiment of Vengeance by Trent Lane. In the nonfiction category, our first place winner is Grit Runs in the Family by Luis Garcia. The honorable mention is Reckless But Breathing by Ivan Kolobathula. Ivan Kolobathula. I'm so sorry, Ivan. Sorry, I said your name wrong. In the editorial category, first place, Lights, Camera Representation by Perla Lopez. Honorable mention, Treating Gun Violence as a Public Health Crisis by Jasmine Morales. In the poetry category, first place was Scars by Cindy Smith, and the honorable mention is Cosmic Love by Suryansh Shetty. Thank you. Sorry, Shuri. I'm sorry, Suri. I practiced that. I got it all wrong. The winners of the editorial category couldn't join us today, and I'm not sure if Louise was able to join us either. But I will go ahead and have the winners of the poetry and fiction category come and join us and get their prizes. Okay, we will now be pleased to enjoy a reading from each of these authors, beginning with Cindy, followed by Justin, unless Louise is able to come on in here by then. He had an obligation he couldn't avoid. But he is going to try to make it. We'll see what happens. Okay, after Justin is finished reading, I will turn the microphone over to Professor Cassie Balzer, who will introduce our guest speaker.
Scars. Everyone has different ways they scar. Most bodies naturally heal on their own and end up having no mark from it. Mine doesn't. My body builds keloid scars, the ones that are very visible, caused by dysfunction in the healing process. I think my heart is covered in keloid scars. Never once in my life do I remember healing properly. For me, my scars are always getting pointed out. What's that from? How'd that happen? Retelling the story of a time I was hurt over and over again. I have them all over, in places you can see no matter what I wear, and some in places you can see when I only wear nothing. Sometimes I get embarrassed about them. My mind tells me I should be ashamed. My mom constantly finding ways to get rid of them. But why? Why get rid of a sign of healing, of growth? My heart is covered in keloid scars, sometimes visible in the way I act, and sometimes only visible in my vulnerability. Many times have I tried to get rid of these scars on my heart, but now I realize they all have a story, and the story is part of who I am. So whether your body scars visibly or it heals perfectly, you too have a story behind it all, and that story is worth sharing.
All right, so before I start, I got to give some context to the story because we're starting a little bit later in the story. The story starts off with the main villain, Ezekiel. He's a prophet for his god, the stars of beyond, and he's given a mission to go after our main character, Hisai Janade, and convert him into religion. After finding him at his academy, they have a little fight, and this ends in Josiah basically not agreeing to converting, and Ezekiel getting mad at this. So starting at the end of chapter 7, going into chapter 8, I'm going to read from there. Ezekiel. I landed silently on the rooftops, chest heaving. The stars were quiet, judging and whispering, reminding me of my duty. I felt fulfilled, but not finished. I told the stars, he's so much more than you ever know. I wanted to change my plan. I had obeyed, I had restrained myself, I had spared him, yet the taste of restraint was bitter. My chest burned, my hands itched with the power I had held back. He was so strong, too strong. His disobedience of his spirit cut deeper than any weapon. He would not bend easily, and that meant I would have to break everything around him first. Patience, the stars murmured. Yes, patience. But I would not fail again. Not him, not my God, not myself. I took off towards the house of worship and began to speak to my God, my new plan. Chapter 8, Aftermath. The rain had not stopped. It clung to Ezekiel's hair, slid down his pale skin, and soaked into his white shirt as he climbed the lonely hill. Each step was steady, measured, and purposeful. The house of worship stood before him as it always had, white limestone rising from the earth like a fragment of heaven itself. Even beneath the storm clouds, it glowed faintly, untouched by time, war, or doubt. Home. Ezekiel placed his hands on the massive doors. They were warm and alive. He pushed, and the doors opened with a low, reverent groan. Inside, the world changed. The storm vanished, and warm air embraced him, dry, sacred, heavy with incense and prayer. Dark oak floors stretched endlessly beneath the candlelight that drifted without strings or strands. Floating like obedient stars, the flames leaned towards him as he passed, as they always did. He walked towards the center and knelt, not in weakness, not in regret, devotion. God, he whispered, I have seen him, the one you showed me, Josiah Janade. He is stronger than expected. His body adapts quickly. His instincts are sharp, and his fear is powerful. Fear is fertile ground. When I confronted him, he resisted. He fled. He burned with hatred. I could have ended him. His throat was open. His heart was trembling. One strike, and he would have been yours. But that would have been wasteful. He's unfinished. Killing him now would only silence his doubt, but breaking him, reshaping him, guiding him through suffering, that will make him worthy. I understand now. Force will not save him. Fear will not convert him. Death will not perfect him. He must grow. He must struggle, and he must believe that strength is his only path forward. And when he stands tall enough to challenge me, I too will stand before him as your proof. I will become his trial. I will become his star, and I will become his salvation. Silence followed. Then the candles flared wildly. Not wildly, not violently. I see your vision. Fulfill it in my honor. Spread your devotion and prepare him for me. And in approval, Ezekiel smiled. Yes, my Lord. 3 days had passed. Josiah did not sleep. In fact, he couldn't. Not properly, at least. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw light, blinding, razor sharp, cutting through rain and shadow. He woke with his heart racing, fingers clenched around empty air, breath trapped in his throat. Ezekiel's eyes haunted him, not with rage, not with cruelty, but with certainty. Ezekiel could have taken him at any time he pleased, especially after angering him profusely, speaking heresies of his God. He could have easily been killed, even at full power, and that's what terrified him the most. And by the fourth morning, the people of the academy were noticed. Janade, Josiah barely looked up while on the ground, wheezing and panting. Yes, sir? Instructor Halvin stood at the end of the training field, arms crossed, brows furrowed. You've been here since dawn. Josiah wiped his sweat from his face. Yeah, I know. I'm just getting some extra hours in. I'm fine, he said tiredly. You skipped meals. I'm fine. You shattered 3 practice targets yesterday. Halvin's voice softened. Josiah, you don't look fine. Josiah exhaled starkly. I just want to get better. For what? Josiah hesitated. He looked back down to the ground scornfully. For everything. The instructor studied him for a long moment. Rest is a part of training. Josiah nodded and then turned back to the field. And then Halvin sighed and walked away. What will I do with that boy? On the 5th day, the training grounds were empty by noon. Perfect. Josiah stood before a reinforced combat doll, equipped with a steel core, enchanted fibers, and even filled to the brim with stage 3 magic protection. The best of the best, built to withstand artillery-level strikes. He tightened his gloves, he breathed in, and Ezekiel's voice echoed in his mind. You are to be subjugated. No, Josiah whispered. Energy surged through his veins. He stepped forward. No, he screamed. Struck. The air detonated. The doll did a bend. It exploded. Metal screamed and wood shattered. Fragments rained across the field. Josiah froze. Smoke curled around him. His hands trembled. What did I? His knees buckled. He dropped back onto the dirt, heart hammering, breath uneven. Even if I get this strong, will it even matter? He stared at the ruined target. Ezekiel had moved faster, struck cleaner, and smiled while doing it. Josiah pressed his palms to his eyes. I'm still weak. By evening, he left the academy. The city lights blurred past him as he walked. Markets closed, guards changed shift, children laughed, and life continued, as if nothing happened. As if he had nearly got cut down in an empty hallway, he passed through the southern gate, towards home, towards safety, He stopped outside his house. Light glowed through the windows, voice drifted out. His mother's laugh, his little brother's, Raphael's excited trap chatter. Normal, good. He exhaled. Maybe tonight, maybe he could forget. He opened the door. Mom, I'm home. The words died in his throat. Ezekiel sat at the dinner table. His golden hair was tied loosely behind his back. His white sleeves were rolled up, and a plate rested before him. He was eating, smiley, laughing quietly with Raphael. Yes, Ezekiel said warmly. That's very impressive. You're strong already. Raphael beamed. Really? Of course. One day you might even surpass your brother. Marissa poured tea. I'm so glad you can visit again, Prophet. It is an honor, Ezekiel answered on softly. Then he lifted his eyes. They met Josiah's. The smile did not fade, but something beneath it sharpened. Welcome home, Ezekiel. Josiah couldn't breathe. What the hell? That's it.
Thank you, Cindy and Justin. Kevin Kilmer, class of 1991, is the Director of Branch and Technical Services at Elkhart Public Library, where he has spent his career connecting people with resources, ideas, and each other. He is the author of the recently published Follow the Bees from Bottle Cap Press. His work explores neurodivergence, grief, doubt, connection, and the plain-spoken beauty of ordinary life. He lives in Indiana with his wife, Carolyn, and is a recent and delighted grandfather. His daughter, Kate, a 2020 Hesston College alumna, joins us today as well. Before he reads two of his published poems, please welcome Kevin to the stage.
Thank you, everyone. My first poem is called Close the Door. The door left open for the return, the continuing, will only bring a draft of a memory cold. Why stand at the door seeking in the nighttime the what was and the never again? Look behind you at the room around the warmth enfolding, accepting. The door you left open will still keep its secrets. It won't answer what you need to know. It is only an open door to a silent chill. Close the door. It's getting cold in here. And my second poem is titled, I am not a butterfly, ich bin kein Schmetterling. I am not a butterfly. I am as a grasshopper. I will not transform in the privacy of a cocoon. I will not be pretty in the end with wings of glass and the lightness of a gentle breeze. My transformation will molt my skin, leaving me raw and tender, but it will be evidence of my growth. I will leave my old selves aside to become dust. I will become something respected, not something admired. A butterfly is a jewel to adore. A grasshopper is a strength to beware. Ich bin kein Schmetterling, ich bin ein Grashüpfer. Ich werde mich nicht in Schutz ein Kokons verwandeln. Am Ende werde ich nicht hübsch sein, mit Flügeln aus Glas und der Leichtigkeit einer sanften Brise. Meine Verwandlung wird meine Haut abstreifen und mich roh und verletzlich zurücklassen. Aber sie wird der Beweis meines Wachstums sein. Ich werde mein alten Selbstbilder ablegen, bis sie zu Staub werden. Ich werde etwas, das man respektiert, nicht etwas, das man bewundert. Ein Schmetterling ist ein Jewel, das man bestaunt. Ein Grabsufer ist eine Kraft, vor der man sich in Acht nimmt. Thank you.
That was wonderful. We only have about 5 minutes left, and so I wanted to open it up for questions, but considering the fact that we only have such a limited amount of time left, I was hoping you might talk to some of our aspiring and budding writers out there about, first of all, why poetry for you, and or if you wouldn't mind sharing a bit of your writing process.
Sure.
Thank you.
So why poetry? It's because I don't have the attention span for anything longer. I have suffered with ADHD, primarily inattentive ADHD, for all my life, but I didn't know that until last summer when I was finally diagnosed. I have tried writing longer fiction, and I just can't sustain it. So the short form that poetry gives me, being able to distill my thoughts and the images in my head down to the bare minimum, is something I find very rewarding, and I hope people enjoy it. As far as my writing process goes, it comes in many forms. Often I will be thinking through something I want to talk about. Like, along with my diagnosis of ADHD, I also was diagnosed with rejection sensitivity dysphoria, and I wanted to write about it, but I could not think of how to start a poem like that. So what my brain does is I just kind of open a subroutine and let my subconscious work on it. And I've begun, and I trust that process, that in about 2 or 3 days, something will just pop to my mind. You know how when you try to think of an actor, but you can't remember the name, and you think and you think and you think and you give up, and then 6 hours later, it pops into your head. That's how my poems begin. And in this case, I saw rejection sensitivity dysphoria is a disorder, a neurological disorder, where feedback, criticism is devastating. You think you're just the worst human alive. And even positive criticism, even compliments, your brain twists into them lying to you, that they're just trying to make you feel better, they're just trying to pass you off. It is an awful thing. And it popped in my mind that this happens every day. So the poem worked out where for each day I describe a social interaction in what someone speaking to me is trying to say, and how my brain interprets it and turns it into something very negative. And just that week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just popped in my head, and the poem just kind of wrote itself from there. There's also times where I'll get a phrase in my head. The title for the book, The Bee Flower? Follower? No, The Follow the Bees is the name of the book. The actual phrase, follow the bees, haunted me for months. I couldn't figure out what it meant. And one day I just sat down and did a stream of consciousness, and the poem just came out almost verbatim. I didn't edit it very much. So for those who want to write, you just need to trust that your mind will be creative. And if you force it, it may not happen. I've forced a lot of poems, and they're awful. But when you sit back and let your mind think through it and trust that I'll pop it up, don't let yourself think in terms of rules. When you're in school, you have to learn rules. You have to understand the tradition of poetry and English literature and whatnot, but when you were creating, there are no rules. You could squish a bug on a piece of paper and call it a poem if you want. You just keep working at it every day, and the creativity will come. Is there anything else? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Just one little reminder, and then we'll go. Next week is our last week, of course, and there will be 2 times where you can get a formation point if you're still working towards your 11. We would like you to come to both. Both will be fantastic. We have singing and dancing and celebration of Asian and Pacific Islander culture on Wednesday. And we have Lark Fest, where we celebrate your achievements on Friday. So we have a great week coming up next week and hope to see you then. Thank you for your attention.